ITSMF would like to take the time to thank all of our partners and sponsors for making this event possible. Our host and Ignite sponsor, Wells Fargo. Emerge Forum sponsor, Accenture. Bridging Innovation Pitch Competition, Platinum Technologies. Dignitary Reception, Pyramid Consulting. And our additional symposium sponsors, Becton Dickinson and State Farm. ITSMF to thank ITSMF's S1-23 Symposium and our second annual Bridging Innovation Pitch Competition, sponsored by Platinum Technologies. Welcome back to ITSMF's S1-23 Symposium and our second annual Bridging Innovation Pitch Competition, sponsored by Platinum Technologies. Welcome back.
Oh, yeah. We are back in effect here at ITSMF. I know y'all wasn't ready for that, right? You just came back from lunch. Y'all feeling a little itis-y, I'm sure, right? People want to climb underneath the table and take a nap and whatnot, but not today. Right here, right now, we're going to have a good time. We're going to need your energy because we got some awesome businesses that are going to present to you all today. And trust me, if you were standing on this stage, you will want your energy too, okay? So, did everybody have a good time at lunch? Y'all did? Guess what? I ain't ate yet. This suit, I always make sure I don't be too tight. So my wife got me. She said, baby, you go eat after. We're going to get you something after so you can unbutton your jacket, right? No, just teasing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take the time to welcome you to the second annual Bridging Innovation Pitch Competition, sponsored by Platinum Technologies. Give them a round of applause. This is going to be one heck of a treat for you all today. So if you don't know already, my name is Cedric Cobb, and I have the honor of serving as the Director of Development and Engagement for Information Technology Senior Management Forum, affectionately called ITSMF. Give the organization a round of applause. What's cool is that in conjunction with my day-to-day duties as DD, I am also an entrepreneur as well. Because of great systems and processes that are in place, I'm able to still retain an international men's fashion technology company that helps men look and feel their best with fashion education, wardrobe consulting, and all the accessories to maintain their great brand image. Did you know that this business landed me a deal on Shark Tank, Season 10, Episode 21, with the People Shark, Mr. Damon John. That's right, Mr. FUBU himself, right? So I know a little something about pitching, would you say? Go back and watch the Season 10, Episode 21. I'm on Hulu, that's my picture right there on Hulu. So check that out, it's kind of cool, all right? But that's all the more reason why I'm super excited about the opportunity that these three businesses have the opportunity of a lifetime today, to be able to pitch in front of basically their family, their technology family, the ITSMF family. You guys, I could not imagine them doing it any different than this. Listen, I'll tell you this, what they're doing is a little harder than what I did. I pitched in a studio in front of 5 people and all the technicians, they were hidden. I didn't see nobody. I pitched in front of 5 people for an hour, and then 7 months later, you saw 11 minutes of that 1 hour segment. And so I didn't have to deal with none of y'all. I had to deal with none of y'all. But unfortunately, our pitchers here today, they will be pitching in front of you all. But you all are going to give them great energy, yes? All right, this is going to be fun. Look at these like your 3 little technological babies up here pitching their business. Y'all do it, y'all. And cheer for them and root for them because I got a little something that we're going to need you to do later. You know, statistics show that one of the greatest barriers to entry with black startups and businesses that are trying to scale is access to capital. Did you know that black businesses that launch, they launch with 72% less capital than our white counterparts? That's a huge number. It's like starting at a starting gate, but you're 7 steps behind when the race begins. You got to try to catch up and get ahead. But access to capital is really, really, truly a game changer. So, but did you also know that because of our gold sponsor, Jermon Bafferty at Platinum Technologies, who you will hear from later on today, will be a part of the solution, that $15,000 of non-diluted funding is up for grabs today. Give that a round of applause, right? Today you will see 3 contestants competing for the grand prize of $10,000 of hardcore cash. All right? The grand prize will be determined by our illustrious panel of judges, which I will bring up momentarily. However, you, the audience, get an opportunity to participate as well. At the end, I will give you an opportunity through text messaging to vote for your top 3 businesses. So, and we call that the People's Choice Award, and that will be $5,000 to the winner of the People's Choice Awards. I'm excited for y'all. I really, truly am. Because of the commitment of our panel of judges, each contestant, regardless of winning, will receive an opportunity to have a one-on-one sessions with each of our judges for feedback, resources, strategy, mentoring, and guidance for even more capital. So, without further ado, at this time, let me introduce to you our amazing panel of judges. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Alan Shaw. Alan, he has over 25 years of experience in banking and technology. Alan leads the Office of the CTO and Reimagine for Wells Fargo Company. Give him a round of applause. All right. Up next is Miss Valerie Mackey. All right. Valerie is the CEO of Right Now Solutions and an ITSMF member. Give her a round of applause. Outstanding. And last but not least, we got Rod McDaniel. Rod is the CEO of S1 Recycling Solutions, one of the fastest growing private companies in America, and also an ITSMF executive member. Here's our illustrious panel of judges. Give them a round of applause. And we are about to get started. So they got one heck of a job to do. One heck of a job to do to judge these, because we searched far and wide to get these 3, and I think we did really good. So what we want you to know, that we do take a lot of pride in making sure that black businesses do have access to capital, and that we want to remove as many barriers as possible for businesses. Now, what we did is we took care of all of the traveling expenses and room and board and flight for every single panelist, every single contestant that you see here today. I'm sorry, not panelists. We ain't take care of your stuff. We ain't swipe credit cards in, and
no.
we.
That's not.
No, you. Oh, okay. That, you know what that means? That means you got it. So you got it. We going Dutch. We going Dutch. You got it. You got it. So, but all of this to make sure that there were no barriers for any of our contestants here today, and they can just come and present their best to you all and have an opportunity to not only gain access to some cash, but also gain access to you all as a network. So as you see them pitch up here, connect with them afterwards, give them an opportunity to know you and meet you, support their businesses in any way that you can, make referrals, like them on Facebook, share their stuff. All that stuff matters. It all matters, okay? And the other thing we did, we gave them full access to the symposium, right? So that's enough of me talking about all of that. Now it's time to bring up our very, very first contestant for today. All right, so let's bring up Carlanda. Carlanda is the founder and CEO of Bodify. Bodify, a predictive analytics tool for buying clothes online. No newcomer to starting a business. She has received her MBA focused on entrepreneurship from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, In recent years, she has consistently been recognized for her thought leadership, with Bodify being named as Kansas City's top 10 startups to watch. Carlandra herself has also been recognized for one of the area's top 20 innovators to know in the Kansas City Business Journal. Welcome to the stage, Ms. Carlandra McKinney.
Hello. I'm so nervous.
Hello
okay.
there.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Carlandra McKinney, founder and CEO of Bodify, and we help people find what fits so that they keep what they buy. I want to start by showing you a picture of a returns processing center, because this is the first stop for tons of new clothing returns on their way here. 6 billion pounds of solid new textile waste ends up in landfills every year. Did you know that? And it's because retailers would rather trash your returns than spend on processing them and trying to resell them. Now, what is the number one reason that people return their clothes? Does anyone know? For 6 years in a row now, size and fit is cited as the number one reason that people return clothes they buy online. And if that sounds crazy to you, take a look at this. These are all size 10 women's jeans. They are all the same size, but they are physically different sizes. No wonder it's such a pain to find what fits when you're shopping, specifically when you're shopping online. And that's where Bodify comes in. We have developed a predictive analytics platform that helps shoppers better understand how clothing will fit them in real time as they browse. That sounds interesting. That's because it is. So let me show you how it works. Let's say you're shopping on your favorite retailer and you decide that you want to unsubscribe from the guess and check method of buy and return, and you opt into our Find Your Fit process. You say, hey, help me find what fits. We start by getting your pictures, which help us get your measurements. You upload a front-facing photo and a side-facing photo. We do not keep the images. We only pull the measurements off of your images. We then run those measurements against brand-specific data points that we have stored on our back end. And from there, we assign a fit confidence score to every item in the portfolio of wherever it is you're shopping. So now you know if that pair of jeans is probably going to fit you, or if you should refrain from hitting add to cart. When people have better information to make decisions with and are able to shop more intelligently, they are more satisfied. Satisfied customers don't return things, and that is the goal. Now, this isn't exactly a new problem. I mean, shopping online has been dreadful for years. We all know this. And so there have been a lot of companies trying to solve it over the years, and they are still trying to solve it. At first glance, this might seem a little bit crowded, but here's the takeaway. Despite all of these players on the field, returns hit a record high in 2022. Clothing returns hit a record high in 2022. So what the current tools are and the approaches existing today, they just do not work. Now, Bodify is a little bit different. See, we understand that fit is relative, and it's really driven more by the brand than the size. We are uniquely positioned in this somewhat crowded space to deliver an exceptionally effective solution because our scores are dynamic. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can take Candace from Macy's or Anu. We're working on a partnership with them. Heck, take your own word for it. How many times have you put something on and said, why does this look terrible on me? Even though it's my size? Well, it is your size. It's your size, but it's not your brand. It's not your item. You shouldn't buy that. Doesn't matter if it's a 10 or whatever. And see, that's what we're solving. All right, so numbers. I want to give you the high level, and then we can dive further during Q&A if you're interested. But we charge, as a SaaS company, we charge a pretty straightforward fee based on our client's inventory. So there's an implementation fee up front, and then we charge a fee per SKU or item that we upload into our catalog on a quarterly basis because that's the cadence with which retailers swap out their inventory. All told, when we're at scale, we'll be doing about $70 million in annual recurring revenue. Let's go. So here's our launch and growth strategy. It's pretty straightforward. We're starting with these large multi-brand retailers. Think Macy's, Nordstrom, Stitch Fix. These companies have hundreds of brands in their portfolios and thousands of shoppers, and frankly, they need us. Our second phase layers on us working directly with the brands, so like Nautica, Calvin Klein, directly, and we're functioning in much of the same way. Now here's where it gets interesting in future scaling. We can take all of this data and leverage it in the resale and data insight space. And that's where it really gets interesting. And again, we can talk further about that in Q&A. Right now, we're operating with a very lean team, with myself as CEO and Terry O'Keefe as our software architect. Okay.
You can finish your last statement. Finish your last statement.
He's our software architect. He's really, really smart and brilliant. And I want to get to this because this is my ask for the room. Right now, we're raising a pre-seed round of $1.2 million. I have about half of that soft circled. And we are looking for a lead that will allow us to get into the 3 pilot programs that we're currently establishing and solidify our relationship with Accenture. I want you to remember this when you leave here. This is what we're trying to prevent. Thank you.
Stay. Don't try to run, girl. Don't try to run.
I'm not.
Well done. Great
Thank
job.
you.
So now, judges, we have 5 minutes for questions.
Yes.
Want to kick us off?
All right, I'll kick us off.
Okay.
First of all, job well done.
Thank
Nicely
you.
done. And I do think there is a need in that space. I'd send stuff back all the time. But you mentioned the first thing you're working with is women's jeans. So that's your focus. How did you determine that that was the biggest need?
For a number of reasons. That's the most returned clothing item, is jeans across the board. But we picked jeans for a few things. For one, they are the most difficult clothing item to fit for, next to bras and ski wear, because they serve various functions. So once we knock it out of the park with jeans, everything else is comparatively simple from a tech perspective. But also, everyone sells and wears jeans, so it keeps our market nice and big, and our hard launch isn't going to be impacted by the time of year because everyone wears jeans all year round. So that's why.
Nice job. Question for you. So great job.
Thank you.
Well done. I've been in private equity for some time, and so I can appreciate what you're going through right now. So you're in good hands. 2 questions for you.
Yes.
What's your CAC? So your cost of acquisitions for your customers, right? That's the first question. My second question is, there's an ESG component here.
Yes,
For every textile that you recycle, right, you're reducing the amount of water that's being used, you're reducing, so I didn't see any of that in your presentation. Why?
So I'll answer your first question,
Sure.
Because that's the simple answer. The simple answer is I'm not entirely sure yet,
Okay.
because I'm not tracking it. The way that I am doing business dev is just me. And so I am very adept at LinkedIn stalking. And that's how I've gotten into the doors that I've gotten into. I don't have a sales team, so it's not something that I can really monitor. What I'm estimating that it will be is, it depends on the type of client. So our bigger, like Macy's type clients, I call those tier 1 clients, our CAC is about $700. It seems really low for an enterprise client, but if you look at the amount of time that we spend on calls and presenting, that's about what it costs right now. For our tier 2 clients, which are more like, I call them Instagram boutiques, it's a lot lower. They do a lot of volume, but they're very flat organizations, and so I just shoot off a DM and get a response. So I mean, that CAC is pretty low.
Your time.
Yeah. So in terms of the ESG component, it's not here because as I've been talking to potential retail partners, that's not something that they're worried about right now. I lean into that more when I'm pitching to climate tech investors, when I am pitching to like a Patagonia or someone who does really value that. But when I've been talking with Macy's or when I was talking with Ralph Lauren, that's not something they're really worried about right now. Their thing is help us keep people from sending stuff back. and so that's what we're leaning into.
Thank you.
You kind of touched on it a little bit with your business development activities. So you mentioned that you're doing some of the business development activities yourself via LinkedIn. what's another way for a retailer to find out about you?
Besides me reaching out to them,
Yeah.
PR. PR, our website, our social channels. We've gotten, every time an article about Bodify or me or something comes out, I notice an uptick in influx of interested retailers. So we've been building, I should mention, before I decided to go full SaaS, this was a B2B2C model. So we were doing like a two-sided marketplace and bringing brands and sending shoppers to the brands that would fit them directly. From that model, I already had a wait list of dozens of retailers. And so I've been going through that and reaching back out to them. But really, it's just hustle. I mean, right now I am a team of one and lots of contractors. And Terry, he's our architect, but he moonlights with us, frankly. And that's what I'm raising for. I mean, what I've been able to do with Bodify with just myself, I'm really excited to bring a team of equally dedicated and capable people so we can just like crush it.
Right.
Go ahead. As a follow-up, have you ever thought about licensing the technology to other retailers?
I have.
Okay.
I have. I would like the opportunity to talk with someone who is skilled in that area further about that because that's not my area of expertise. But I have considered it.
Okay. Thank you. Did a great job.
For you. You had $1.2 million of seed money that you're raising. What percentage of the company are you selling for that?
Ooh, you want to ask me in public?
Yeah. We got money in the room, girl. We got money.
Okay.
You may have investors
Yes.
in the room, right?
So we're raising on a safe.
Okay.
We're raising on a safe. One of our circle is match funding. So whatever our lead comes in at is what they'll come in at.
Okay.
But we are raising on a safe. And
That means she doesn't want to be diluted. She won't give you your money back. Thank you.
that's not what that means. It means that different investors might get different things. I don't want to publicly promise everyone the same thing.
Understood.
Well done.
Awesome.
Well done.
Thank you
That's
all.
our time.
Thank you.
Everybody say thank you, Carlanda. Man, I wish Shark Tank was like this. Dang. This is awesome energy in here. Well, up next, we have Georgiana. Georgiana Wright is a junior at Alabama A&M University, studying computer science with a background in machine learning, where she has interned at companies like Rockstar Games, Apple, and how do you say this name? I'm gonna skip it. Okay, she will she will be an incoming Microsoft research intern where she will focus on building applications to create AI, and also she also won a previous Ambition Prize HBCU winner. But outside of her internships, she's also the co-founder of Paper AI, a customizable story-generating AI platform. Welcome to the stage, Miss Georgiana Wright.
All right. You're good.
I'm so nervous, and also I'm in the middle of my finals week as well, so I guess I could start. Hello, I'm Georgiana. I am the CEO and founder of Paper AI, where you get to create your own stories. So how do we do that? Well, we use the power of AI to create creative and inclusive entertainment. And so you may be wondering, how do we focus on that? Well, we do it by creating fan fiction, which is basically creative fiction, focusing on new narratives created by fans for fans. And so you may be wondering, wow, you're such a nerd. What is fan fiction? Can you raise your hands if you love Marvel? Come on, yeah. I'm a comic nerd. And also, so it's like other smaller communities, but fan fiction is basically the heart of the community. I basically built this platform just for my sister, who honestly is a huge nerd. She's bigger nerd than me, but she wanted to see herself in the media that she loved. And as an older sister, I wanted to make her be happy in the media that she loved. And so basically with fan fiction, there's such a high demand but a low supply. In fan fiction, authors cost $400 just for one chapter of a story, which is unreasonable for younger audiences. And authors often leave their stories because of harassment. So I created Paper AI, a customizable fan fiction generator using GPT-3 and GPT-2 to generate stories without an author. We're open to all fan communities. So if you love Twilight, if you love Marvel, if you love Game of Thrones, and want to change the final season of Game of Thrones, we can do that. And users can consume over 100,000 different story combinations. So here's our original prototype. You just have to enter your information, pick the characters and traits you want to see. So let's just say if you really love Harry Styles, like I do, and you really see him as passionate, supportive, funny, but maybe you see him as mysterious and lazy, you can change that. You can stay in the material or do a different universe. Maybe you see Harry Styles as a barista, and you can have your fan fiction delivered to you in less than a couple minutes. So I truly love the users that I have. They've been amazing. They just really want to see fan fiction or just fiction made for them by them. And I want to do that. And so we're focusing on the digital publishing market, which is around 51 billion. But we really want to focus on active English users on fan fiction sites, which is around 53 million. And we already have a lot of traction. We launched 3 months ago, and we have like 80 users who really want to try out our beta, which has been amazing. But we really want to focus on high-quality writing with low operation costs, compared to our competitors like AI Dungeon, who has high operation costs because they use GPT-3, but they have low-quality writing because they're using a Dungeons & Dragons type of style of writing. And here's our pricing plan, which we really want to focus on doing it free with ads with weekly limit of 5 stories, but we also have the option of professional, which is $20 monthly for unlimited stories for people who really love reading, like me. So here's our roadmap. So early fall 2023, we really want to focus on community partnerships, story showcasing, and publishing our own series with prior to beta iOS app launch. So I'm Georgiana. I raised over a 50K pre-seed already, and just making sure I have machine learning experience from Google, Apple, and Microsoft Research, and also game development experience from Call of Duty, which is Activision, and Rockstar Games. So I can build this. So our financial goals is basically for an 18-month runway of 250K. Thankfully, we raised over 100K of this already, thankfully from Black Ambition Prize and also receiving free production help from Black Public Media as I am one of their NCU fellows. But I really want to hire other developers and designers to make sure I can succeed to bring a beautiful, high-quality product. And so, yeah, contact us at Paper AI, and also my email if you need me. So yeah, thank you so much.
Outstanding job. Outstanding job. All right, 5 minutes of question Q&A.
I get the first one again?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Georgette, how are you?
I'm nervous.
Happy finals week.
Calm
That's okay.
down.
Don't be
It's all
nervous.
good.
These are friends. We're all friends here.
All friends.
That's right.
Oh.
So my first question, and I'll do a follow-up question later. I want to talk a little bit about the ad revenue. You noticed in your first offering, you give your subscribers, your customers, you get it for free with ads. So can you tell me a little bit about what the ad revenue looks like for your team? And
Yes. Basically, since on the market for like reading, a lot of the other reading apps use a lot of their revenue is ads, and so we basically, not to give away our revenues just because of but a good chunk of our revenue, since we're still wanting to do the pre-launch, we have significantly 2 contracts with other companies just to give them their ads, mostly their publishing companies. So that's a follow-up. That's to answer that. So yeah. Sorry.
let me ask a quick follow-up. What percentage of your top line revenue do you want to come from ads, roughly?
So if we're being honest, I would not want to be an ad leading company, I would just want to target maybe 20%, because when you have ads in a reading experience, sometimes if you really want to be ad driving, you have to sacrifice quality, and I don't want to do that. I love my users. I wouldn't want to do that to sacrifice their experience. So we really want to focus on producing high quality stories so they can spend that money where I'm not focusing on being an ad leading company. So.
Thank you.
Christian, you talk about your pricing model, and it sounds like it's a B2C model. Have you considered B2B? Is that an option for you to go B2B as well?
I would love if a business wanted to contact me, but I really want to focus on my customers and my users, because that's how I started. I was literally showing my sister Paper AI on Discord, and that's how we grew. And so that's how I really want to grow, because I truly just care about those customers, first of all. But if businesses want to contact me, the professional tier is for them, since it's only $20 for unlimited, so they can do anything they want.
So when I say business, maybe even an educational system?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Is that something that you have thought of?
I have not thought about that, but I would love to have the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
If anyone wants to do that, let me know.
By the way, great job.
Thank you.
Really did an amazing job. I have two questions. So you mentioned in one of, as far as like your next steps, you mentioned community partnerships. What's an example of a community partner?
So I really am happy you asked that question, because one of the community partnerships I'm really dying for and ready to announce is basically Black Girl Nerds, and also what's the full name? Blurred. They're just called Blurreds. They're an amazing Black nerd community, and honestly, I've been following their content since I was in high school, which is not that long ago.
Couple years.
I was like, when she said it, I was like, what? Where go with that?
I'm such a baby. I'm sorry. But yeah, I really just love those communities, since they were the ones who grew me just to become the nerd that I'm nerdy person I am. And also there's one organization, Color Stack. They have helped me with getting Apple and Google, and so I really want to continue partnering with them just to see if I can hire any interns as well. So.
Awesome. So second question, I may have missed it in the presentation, but is there an opportunity for ad revenue since you're going, you're doing straight to consumer?
Yes.
Okay. What does that look like?
So when you finish a story, basically display-wise, you would see like a quick ad. If you're familiar with Episode or Webtoons, they use the same model of when you scroll down or do a story, you finish a story, you're presented by an ad. So it's not removing the experience technically, but it's just like a buffer between you going to the next story.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
You mentioned, oh, go ahead.
And I was remiss. I did not say great job. I'm really impressed with what you've come up with, and the fact that you're doing it because of your sister. You have the stories that you are using with your pitch is really good. So continue to use the whole relatable stories. That was really good. Oh, I'm just not at that part yet. Just questions, my bad. Look, the 250K, how did you come up with that number? What is behind the 250K? How are you using it?
So the 250K was basically like, everyone was telling me to do 500, but I knew I can develop this platform by myself. So I just went down to 250, but also just hiring another front-end developer and also another UI designer, because there's certain elements that I'm missing. I can't create myself because I am not a UI designer. I am not a front-end developer. I'm a back-end and AI engineer, I guess. And so those are my bread and butters when developing a company. So it's really just the 250K to raise to get those contractors.
And you pay yourself as well?
No.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Until I create a company, until I create the company that I love and I truly feel like my users are fulfilled, then I will pay myself.
I understand.
I have internships to cover that currently, so yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
Well done. Well done. So Georgiana, I'll take a moment to say this. You're really in the right room. When you hear people yelling out different numbers, they're not just saying that to be disruptive. They're saying that because they know that, hey, 500, 750, ask for more than what you need, even though you know you could do it yourself, those type things. So I would completely look forward to all of you connecting with her afterwards and giving her maybe a little bit of advice. How about some mentorship, but even better, sponsorship. Even better. All right, Aurelia. Aurelia Edwards is the founder and CEO of Nailstry. That's a virtual fingernail sizing technology powered by AI. She has a master's degree in cosmetic science and has spent more than 2 decades as a business owner within the spa and wellness industries. After struggling to find press-on nails that fit, she decided to develop a solution to simplify the press-on nail experience. Welcome to the stage, Miss Edwards.
Hello, everyone. I first want to just say thank you for having us. It really feels like we're home here, so just thank you so much for welcoming us. I'm going to start off just talking about our parent company, Standard Measure Technologies. We are building the future of virtual sizing. Our patent-pending technology helps brands and e-commerce platforms allow their customers to make more informed decisions when shopping online. Now, our first product, Nailstry, innovates in the beauty space where we take precision fingernail measurements with less than 1 millimeter of accuracy, taking into account curvature, to help customers shop for press-on nails. Again, my name is Aurelia Edwards, and about 4.5 years ago, I was going to my cousin's meet and greet party for her wedding when I was trying to do my nails at home with some leftover press-on nail boxes that I had tumbling out of my closet when I realized I couldn't finish my manicure. I was missing 2 sizes. I was driving from Jersey to DC, and I had to stop at Target on the way down to buy 30 nails when I only needed 2. I ended up getting stuck in traffic and missing the party, but it really frustrated me that I had to buy a box of 30 nails that were going to sit in my closet again that I couldn't use, and I wanted to solve a problem. 6 weeks after that weekend, I opened a pop-up store right here in New York on Bleecker Street. We manually measured customers in-store to find out what they wanted, and what we realized is that they wanted to shop online, but we still needed to fix that sizing solution. So we gave them what we wanted. I built out Nailstry. This is our iOS app. When you're on the app, you can scan your fingernails using a reference card to standardize the measurement plane. Instructions will seamlessly guide you through a choreographed selection of hand gestures, and then behind the scenes, our computer vision models and clever math will quickly detect and magically measure your nails in a snap. Your sizes are then saved to your profile, and you're able to connect it when your designer is ready to shop. You can have your sizes ready to go. So you know exactly what sizes you need, only have to buy 10. Now, we've come a really long way from that pop-up store in New York City. We built out that Etsy-style marketplace around our patent-pending technology as a way to validate our technology, make sure that it works, and build credibility. But now we're moving on to our B2B offerings. Happy to say we have 26 brands in the pipeline and have our first LOI in the works with a beauty brand in Japan, negotiating that contract today as we speak. And we have a major PO from 2 companies that I can't talk about, but a major retailer, and will be in stores at the end of this year. And interestingly enough, on this journey to find our sizing technology, we built something really special that we see other use cases beyond beauty. Now, we make money a few different ways. We're B2B SaaS, allowing these brands and e-commerce platforms to utilize our technology and building out special circumstances for enterprise companies towards their liking. We also have our marketplace, which is where we started. As we were building out that user base, we take a 15% commission on each transaction, and then we're also exploring our B2B and B2C markets, which give us a gross profit margin between 60 to 80%. Now, the global nail care market is huge and primed for growth, on trend to hit $30 billion in the year 2030, with press-on nails coming in just under half of that at $12.5 billion. But the big news is that for this year, the first time ever, press-on nails are on track to outpace nail polish sales for the first time ever in history, and that's a really big deal. Now, our competitive landscape is really interesting. We have our marketplace, so we do sell press-on nails there with designers, but our competitors are looking to expand their market by offering personalization, and what they're currently doing is sending out sizing kits. So they have come to us asking for our technology so that they can simplify that process and build a broader marketplace for themselves as well. Now, I have a background in cosmetic science, and our CTO is amazing. He's our technical architect. He's also previously venture-backed, so he has that experience in the space. And our lead engineer, our lead engineer, Dario, has domain expertise in machine learning and computer vision models. We are supported by an amazing advisory board. I was one of the first founders in Apple Entrepreneur Camp's cohort for Black founders, and we got code-level guidance to help us optimize our technology. So I started in the beginning talking about standard measure. We started in beauty and built this amazing technology. We're looking to innovate further into jewelry and accessories. Cartier just released their technology with AR try-on. Try-on is great, but it still doesn't give you fit. So we can sit right under that AR try-on technology to make sure that what you see is what you get. And as e-commerce goes into Web3 and the metaverse, we're going to be shopping in that space. We want to guarantee that our customers are getting exactly what they're seeing in that virtual world when they get it at home. Now our ask. We are currently raising our seed round of $1 million, which translates into direct revenue, expecting it to hit $2.5 million with that investment. By 3xing our current marketplace users, bringing on about 70 more B2B customers, and then upselling with add-on features that we will build in that we can then upsell to the current customers that we have. Personalized shopping is the future, and we're starting with Nailstream. Thank you.
5 minutes for Q&A begins now.
All right, I'll start. Well, first of all, great job.
Thank you.
I understand the need. I have a daughter who had prom on Friday and a volleyball tournament at 7 a.m. on Saturday. On and off. It's quick. But how are you marketing to like the population like that, the people that, your customers as well as businesses? How is your marketing plan different from the customers and to businesses, and what are you doing for marketing right now?
So with our first trial, it was just all through communities, through Facebook communities. Getting the designers from Etsy to come onto our platforms, they were able to tell their customers about it, and just social media and different social channels. For our B2B play, going to conferences to see where our customers are at, like Beauty Connect, we're gonna go to that in LA, and actually having those conversations. LinkedIn stalking helps, and also through the networks that I've built through like events like this, different grants that I've won through Shea Moisture, Visa, Alibaba.com, they have all helped to connect the dots with the companies that we work with.
You had a pretty impressive, the 60 to 80% on your gross margins. I'm interested in what's your CAC, and I'm interested in when you're thinking about your distribution model in particular, like what's the cost of the distribution model? How are you getting the product to your customers?
So that profit margin is an actual retail play. It's a wholesale play. Through one of our grant partners, they're buying a purchase order from us that they can distribute through a major retailer. So going through a series of those campaigns helps with the customer discovery. So in that sense, the CAC there is very, very low because we're building off of their audience. And then that opens the doors for technology conversations with major retailers who are now bringing that technology in store. For example, Target is running a pilot with a company called Clockwork where they use a robot to paint your nails in store. Target also has a relationship with Ulta. So having those relationships, it kind of streamlines into those conversations to get those bigger brands in-house.
And your distribution?
Our distribution right now through the customers that were B2B, just through their,
Your entire channel. I'm interested in how are you keeping your CAC low, how are you keeping your gross margins where they need to be, and what's the cost of actually getting the nails to your clients and your customers?
So keeping our costs low, really just using our partnerships. That's really the biggest way to keep them low. And for our wholesale prices, just based on the volume that we're able to bring in, the more partners we get, we can lower our manufacturing costs from that side of the business model.
Okay.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
I'll be honest, you stumped me with the questions, so that's why I looked at Valerie and was like, hey, go first. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
As I'm recapping the presentation, you mentioned working with your competitors. So is that a licensing deal? Like what does that look like?
It's a licensing deal. So our technology, again, is patent pending. We build out that framework for them and white label it, and it's just licensing from that standpoint. So they pay a upfront fee to build out the entire technology, and then they pay a licensing deal and then a maintenance for technical maintenance.
What does the revenue mix look like for the $2.5 million? You raising $1 million for $2.5 million in top line. What does that revenue mix look like?
I have an appendix for that, but so we have about 3 enterprise customers that bring in about close to like 1.2 million just on those 3 enterprise deals, and then the rest, the other 60 or so. There it is. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Other 60 or so, there we go. They bring in about, so for the 1-year runway that we're talking about, we're looking at 3 enterprise customers, bigger virtual service brands, so like your Amazon.coms or your Etsy.coms, paying like a $2,500 subscription model, and then the rest is the marketplace subscription.
Okay.
So you mentioned Amazon, which is clearly, the place where many retailers want to go. What is your plan to get there? Have you tried it already?
We're starting the conversation. So finding key decision makers within these organizations so we can have those conversations. I do frequent a lot of the tech trade shows, so I'm able to get my foot in the door that way and just nurturing those relationships because they are looking for these solutions, especially as we move into this virtual world of sizing.
Patents drive up the value, as you know, of your company. That's why you've got a patent pending. What happens if you don't get the patent?
If we don't get the patent, we still can use our B2B SaaS. It might change our licensing deal a little bit. We might have to give some exclusivity for certain things, but those are conversations that we'll have once we get there. The plan is to get the patent. We already know what's already on the market, and we know how we're a differentiator, so very, very we're very optimistic. I'm working with the examiners. We're very optimistic.
Thank you.
All right. Well done. I told y'all we had some good ones, didn't I? Told you we did. Sherelle, outstanding job. So at this time, you guys got some work to do, don't you?
We do. It's hard.
You got some serious work to do. So I want to go ahead and dismiss you all to deliberate, okay? And so we're going to give them a minute, as my mama would say, to get yourself together. And we're going to come back. But in the meantime, you guys got to get in the game. Y'all got some voting to do. All right? So let me give you some instruction. But first, let me remind you of what's at stake. What's at stake is $10,000 for the grand prize winner. All right? They're going to get a check today, y'all. I don't know if they'll go through the ATM, but they're going to get one today, right? And so $10,000 for that, right? That's the judge's responsibility. But your responsibility is to figure out who the People's Choice Award's gonna be. So here's your instruction. The instruction is, take your phone out. I want you to text ITSMF 001 to this number 22333. All right? It is text, so the number is 22333. But what you want to text there is ITSMF 001. ITSMF 001 and text it to the number 22333. And once you join in, you press A to vote for Bodify. Press B to vote for Paper AI, or press C to vote for Nailstery. What do you say? Press D? Yeah. You know, you can always write a check and everybody can win. We're good with that. You want to vote? Vote with the money. Works for me. A will get you Bodify for first, A Bodify. B, Paper AI, and C, Nailstery. All right, so we're gonna give those guys a little bit of time, probably about 3-4 more minutes. But what I do wanna do is I got some people I do want to invite on stage with me. Do we have Jermon Bafferty close by? There he is. Come on up here, sir. Listen, give him a round of applause. Jermon Bafferty is the founder and CEO of Platinum Technologies, and he is our event sponsor for today. Sir, we really, really thank you for everything that you've done. And you're sharp, too.
No, man, you got it.
What do the old folks say? Boy, you're clean, boy. You're clean, boy. So we want to give Jermon an opportunity. First of all, you are going to help me introduce who the winners are. Okay, we're going to do that. But in the meantime, it's great for you to be able to share your story, your journey as an entrepreneur, and why you decided to actually sponsor this particular segment. Okay?
Yeah.
Stage is yours.
Let's give it up for Cedric, man. I mean, I would want him to be my hype man everywhere. No, as Cedric mentioned, I'm Jermon Bafferty, and I am incredibly honored to be able to sponsor this event. When I saw it last year, you know, I really wanted to get involved in that immediately, and I talked to Michael Buckham-White about that. And I just want to share that, you know, I'm an example, and the three things that I'm an example for, I'll tell you, is the power of purpose, the power of power of purpose, and I'll start with that. And when we founded Platinum Technologies, even before we founded Platinum Technologies, I'll tell you guys that I've been around ITSMF since 2007. He used to carry Doug Ash's bags around, and he would let me come and hang out. And then just over the years, in 18 years career in federal government and federal IT contracting, you know, when I came out of the government, I decided I wanted to start something that was really focused on creating jobs. And I wanted to create 1,000 jobs. And we're on that path today. And we are hiring people from historically underrepresented demographics, specifically black people, and putting them to work in technology services positions that help empower innovation for the federal government. And we started in September of 2020 with a small fighting force of 1. And we really graduated into a serious company, which I'll talk about in a second. And the second item is, you know, the power of providing opportunity. So I can't really see, but where's Rona Bunn? Is she in here? Stand up. I can't see you. I want to embarrass Rona for a minute because I know I wasn't here this morning when I came in this morning, but Michael, I heard you mention a little bit. When you guys see Rhoda, make sure that you line up and you give her a hug. And if she doesn't get 50 hugs, that's not enough. Because I tell you, Rona, she called me one day and she said, hey, Jermon, one of my clients have an issue. And I want you to meet with them, talk to them about a solution. So our company spoke with them, and they liked the solution that we proposed. And as I understand it, we beat out Microsoft to be able to provide this solution. Now, this was a small contract that the principals decided to award to Platinum Technologies, but it was about the power of providing opportunity. Now, I'm going to tell you, that one contract was $500,000, which was huge for us. It was our very first federal contract at a prime level. And Rhoda moved on to bigger and better things. And I can tell you right now, in 2.5 years, that we're now an 8-figure company. That's the power of providing opportunity. And the last item that I'll talk to you guys about is really about the power of providing for your community. And I'll end where I started, where I said in 2007 when I came to ITSMF, and was decidedly an organization that was about personal and professional development from the corporate landscape. And over the last year, I've just been watching and seeing how we've expanded our impact. We're focused on creators, we're focused on inventors, entrepreneurs, small businesses. And this last component is less about me and more about all of us, because when you think about the buying power of the $500 billion of market cap that we got in this room, even if it's not about cutting a check for an individual for an opportunity, you can expand your supplier base. You can give non-traditional companies opportunities to do business with your respective organizations. And I think that's one of the important things to talk about, because in one of the earlier marks, Damani mentioned that, and it rang home for me, because this is how I see things. And to your point, Cedric, about asking about how do I become an entrepreneur, I think most entrepreneurs, they start with either being brilliant and having this awesome idea like the folks that we saw today, or they were going through their career and you hit a roadblock and you decided, you know what, I can do it better for myself. And I was neither of those. You know, I've had a fantastic corporate career, fantastic career in government, but when I came out, it still came back to power and communities. And like I said, we're on this road to creating 1,000 jobs. We're on this road to giving people who haven't had a chance to be a part of high-performing organizations that are doing really important stuff for customers. And I gotta tell you, it feels good. So my encouragement to everyone is to think about how you power your community. And whether it's as an entrepreneur, small business owner, or as an executive in a large company, I just think it's important and responsibility that we should all espouse and live to what ITSMF is continuing to promote and grow among all of us. So again, thanks for having me. I'm excited about who we pick as the winner. And you guys have a good day.
Awesome. I can't let you go yet. You gotta stay, right? I also want to invite our CEO, Miss Johanna Jones, to the stage. Give her a round of applause. And do we by chance have our chairman of the board in here? Is Michael Buckham-White in here? Yeah. Awesome. Come on up, sir. Come on up. Give him a round of applause. Our fearless leadership of ITSMF. We would not be able to do this thing without the vision and excellence of you all. We truly, truly appreciate you. All right, do we have our deliberators back in, the judges? No, they're not back in? Tell them time's up. Tell them time is up. Time is up. So, in the meantime, a couple remarks from our president, CEO, and our board chair until we get the seats filled back up again, okay? Here we go. Ladies first.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to say that Jermon's story was so powerful. I could see the vision in my head of him carrying Doug Ash's bags. And now today he has an 8-figure business.
In 3 years, no less.
In 3 years, no less. And if you know Rona, you know that she is a roll your sleeves up type of girl, right? Let's not talk about it, let's do it. And so I could see in my head the vision of Rona opening the door that helped launch Jermon's business. And the magical part about it is that he didn't forget where he came from and how he got started. So he is now helping and supporting us in the launch of our Ignite initiative. Yes. Because this pitch competition, everybody is ready to support and encourage these 3 businesses, right? But really, this is just the beginning. Our goal is to create a $3 million ecosystem to support these businesses that includes capital, it includes mentoring, it includes the opportunity to access supply chain opportunities. And now you can see 3 examples of what that will do. We have 47 of the largest tech companies in the US in our network. There should be no reason why we shouldn't be able to do more than $15,000 for these businesses next year, right? Yep. So this is a commercial for the future of this organization. You heard our founder, Sheila Talton, who was an entrepreneur. So it is in our history and our mission to support entrepreneurship. And thank you, Jermon, for helping us to get started.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay. So I'll be very brief. You heard our founders talking about not being afraid to pull people up with you, pull them through the pipeline. You as leaders may be the only one. You have to change that. You have to be bold. You have to be brave. Scared money don't make money. Well, that's a different thing altogether. But entrepreneurship is not for everyone. But why not you? Why not break traditional boundaries that you have put in your mind or that you've been held back with because of your background? Because we don't come from the same economic background as our counterparts, or as our allies. Dream a little bit more. You'd be surprised what you can achieve. As an example, this man does it in all parts of his life. He's a marathoner, triathlete. And in August, he and I are going up Kilimanjaro. I share that because in all aspects of his life, he is challenging himself to do more, to be more. Why not you? Why not be an individual who's willing to give money to a very deserving black business when you're in a position of power? Why not? Thank you, JB, for being a great partner.
All right. So real quick, we have a photo opportunity. Can I have my three contestants up real quick? We're going to take one picture before we announce the winners. Come on, quick. Let's go. Put the heels back on. Let's go. They didn't have their heels off. I was just playing. I did, though. You did? Quick photo. Oh, ladies. Let's step up. All right, awesome. So, you guys can go ahead and have a seat real quick. And the results are in. Was that maniacal? Was that maniacal? Right, that was maniacal. So, I'm gonna need a drum roll for this. Drum roll, please. First, judges, thank you for all your hard work of everything you've done. So this is your People's Choice Award winner is the winner is Paper AI. Yeah. Judges. We got our judges coming too. I want to step up just a little bit and over. Yeah. Is that good? Don't make me stand in the back. They always put me in the back. Look at this. HBCU, let's go. Great job. Great job. All right. During her finals week. Come on. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Get this 10K and go take a
I know. Can I hold something as an old $5, something? Nothing? Okay, all right. You got to ask. Closed mouths don't get fed, right? I show open mind. All right. And for the grand prize winner of $10,000 of cold hard cash, drum roll, please. The winner is Bodify. Look at that. Oh, competition is so sweet. Help her up. Help her up. The reaction is priceless, though. You can cry, girl. It's okay. We got it? All right. We're going to give you a different kind of check that the bank will really take, though. Because they ain't go, yeah, it ain't got the routing number stuff don't work. Okay, just want to make sure. Let me help you down, ma'am. All right. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Outstanding. Y'all have been the best audience ever. Give yourselves a round of applause. So listen, real quick, before I have our director of Ignite come up here, Miss Denise Smith, I want to say this really quickly. We talk about the wealth gap all the time, right? Some people say it's 11 trillion, it's 15 trillion after COVID. It's trillion something, okay, let's just say. But I want you to think about, in order to catch up, a game that I love so much called basketball. I was blessed enough to play it in college, did very, very well at it, and one of the things we did well as a team is we shot three-pointers well. We did. And you realize that when you're behind in a game, if you're going to catch up, ones and twos ain't going to do it. Ones and twos ain't going to do it. We got to be shooting some three-pointers to try to catch up. And entrepreneurship is the game-changing points that we can make. So us shooting three-pointers and supporting things like this, we need this to be far bigger. We want this to be its own event. We want to give away hundreds of thousands of dollars in mentorship and the whole 9 yards. So we need all of you all in order to help us with that. But I got Denise up here to talk about the organization, the part of our organization that is allowing people to shoot three-pointers. She'll be the last voice you hear, and I'm done for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Cedric. I still am so super excited for all of you that pitched today. That was not an easy thing. So just another round of applause for our founders. Super proud of you. They're all female, and being a Black female in technology, we all know it's not that easy. So very good. Right now I have up on the screen, we need to get some data. We want to be able to tell the story. And we haven't been able to tell the story so well because we haven't been able to collect that data. So for you in the room, I would love for you to scan this barcode. It's only 10 questions. You can do it. You can fill the information out and help us with telling the story. So if you can scan the barcode, if it's up, that is the last thing I have to say for you. Do not leave this room until you fill out everything that's in there. And thank you.
I guess you guys will hear me one more time. We're done. Actually, to be quite honest with you, I really don't know what's next. I was just kind of owning my own part. So Sherelle, what's next?
ITSMF is delighted to take this opportunity to thank our partners for their unwavering support. Your partnership has been an integral part of our success and growth, and we cannot thank you enough for your contributions. Our silver partners are CMIT Solutions, Lamero. Our gold partners are Panera Bread, Pyramid Consulting. Our diamond partners are American Airlines, Becton Dickinson, Cardinal Health, Cummins, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Gilead, Lincoln Financial, McKesson, NASDAQ, Oracle, Platinum Technologies, Silicon Valley Bank, Southern Company, Teachers Insurance and Annuity Association of America, Worldwide Technology. Our platinum partners are Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, BNY Mellon, Cox Enterprises, Hallmark, JP Morgan Chase, Eli Lilly, Logitech, Micro Focus, Procter & Gamble, Price Waterhouse Coopers. Our titanium partners are Accenture, Bank of America, Deloitte, Citi, Truist Financial. Our palladium partners are Capital One, Cisco, HP Inc., Microsoft, PepsiCo. Our vibranium partners are State Farm, Wells Fargo. We look forward to continued partnership and to achieving even greater success together in the future. Thank you once again for your support.
Lights up on podium. Take podium to IMAX.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, we're going to come back from our break. We're going to get our seats, and we're going to give one more round of applause for that pitch competition. My name is Ernestine Key. I'm the Accounting and Development Specialist with ITSMF. I'm knocking on 50, so I'm going to put on my reading glasses. It brings me great pleasure to introduce our next session in Fireside Chat, The Future of Work for Thriving Environments. As we shift from surviving to thriving, several questions regarding the future of work arise. What future do we envision? What changes are coming next? And what should we be doing right now to prepare ourselves for the future? The recent COVID-19 health pandemic created an opportunity for us to collectively ask the question, why are we working in a brick and mortar office anyway? This session will highlight the why behind questions like this and provide a framework for each of you as technology leaders to wrestle with this for yourself and the organizations you represent. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Futures Advisor at the Institute for the Future and contributing author of Office Shock, Mr. Joseph Press, and founder and CEO of Ubiquitous Preferred and ITSMF Board Vice Chair, Mr. Ibrahim Jackson.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hold on. All right. Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. All right, well, that's in the future. Right after 2 comes 3. Excellent, excellent. Well, Joseph, it's great to be here with you.
Wonderful to be here.
We spent the last several years in really, really good dialogue about what the future could potentially look like. And I think we looked at it from a macro level, which is important because we want to understand what are some of the changes that are going to take in the world. But the biggest challenge I have when we look at things at those macro levels, typically we are, as a minority group in certain areas, marginalized in those futures. So everyone in this room, if you don't know, you do know today, I'm like so unapologetically black, I'm focused on black. What is the impact on black? So, you know, give me your perspective.
So, that's a great question, Ibrahim. How about that?
They're looking for great answers.
So, as a futurist, good news is that we don't predict the future. Secondly, we are really focused, particularly at the Institute for the Future, of working with all leaders across the board to enable every one of us to be able to have some clarity on the future.
Right.
And what's important about getting clarity on the future is looking at some of the signals of changes in behaviors, changes or new things that are happening. And I'll give you just one real quick example that was really exciting that we just saw during these innovation pitches. All of them had an aspect of impact. Bodify, clearly, impact around sustainability. Story I, the winner, okay? An impact around bringing people together around stories. So those are all really important signals. And what we tried to do in our research and our book, Office Shock, was to kind of apply that to what everybody is talking about these days. Do we go back to the office 3 days a week or 4 days a week? All of you technology leaders asking the question, is our technology stack fit for purpose? And we applied what we call future-back thinking to this question about the office, and we revealed that, sure, the questions about when do we work and where do we work, those are important. The questions about sustainability, yeah, those are also really important. But there are 5 other questions that are fundamental in helping any community prepare for the future. And the future is uncertain. But we need to be ready for whatever futures, whatever scenarios are going to play out.
Understood, understood. So what I'll say, getting back to the black question, which
Damn,
you did answer those points, but no, because there is a future, right? And the reason I'm very intentional about black is that we want to make sure that as we look at those futures, that the black experience is something where we're thriving. You know, earlier today, Damani shared, you know, no better time to be black. You know, I have that conversation with him during our one-on-ones periodically. And we're seeing changes and we're seeing shifts and things are ebbing and flowing. You know, for us, and we talked about this in the book, right? There's that space around belonging, right? So I think we have a visual to show on belonging.
We do have a visual about belonging.
Okay. And is it up?
And
or are we responsible for the clicker?
All right.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not coming.
But either way, so a lot of you took the survey early on, and we were able to get some data and some metrics. But when we think about that space of belonging, you know me, I'm selfish. This is an area that I'm really passionate about, making sure that we create these inclusive environments where everyone can thrive. You know, what are some of the learnings that came out of the research, primary research, secondary research, experiences that you've had that contributed to the book?
So a couple of really important elements. You actually, you can see, I believe, well, we see it, but...
It's on the screen.
Oh, great. Okay. Sorry about that. So when we did our research, we asked 7 questions. And this is question number 4 out of the 7. The first one is about purpose. The second one is outcomes, which we're going to talk about next. The third is climate. The fourth is about belonging. The 5th is augmentation, okay, AI. The 6th is place and time, so where and when do we work? And then the last one, which we will also talk about in the time we have today, is about agility. So if we take a look at the feedback that we got from, I think there was about 34 participants, so I want to thank everyone for taking this very unscientific survey. You can already see that within a community that on the surface seems relatively homogeneous, if I may say, again, superficial reading, you can already see that there is a bit of a gap between what people want to have for belonging. That many of you are kind of in the middle. you want to have that familiarity, but you also, some of you are willing to look out and reach out to be different. And I think for the Black community, this is going to be, again, as an outsider, it is going to be a challenge. And I'm speaking as an outsider, as a member of the Jewish community, as a member of the Pittsburgh community, if there are any Pittsburghers out there. Yeah. And I've spent most of my professional life outside of Pittsburgh, unfortunately. And I live in Switzerland, so I've got a different perspective as well. And what I see here is that a conversation should happen. And the conversation about what is the right balance between working within the community and embracing others outside of the community. And as we move forward in the future, yes, this is a great time to be Black because there is a lot more activity happening. There is a lot more awareness happening. And I do believe that what I've heard, certainly today, is that this is a very passionate community. It's a very empowered community, particularly when we just heard conversations about how to really move from mentorship and the strong networks into sponsorship. And we had that conversation just a couple of minutes ago. So this is a really good indicator that a real honest conversation should happen about your topic of expertise, about belonging, and how do you leverage the belonging that is so much an integral part of this community to move forward and strengthen all communities to co-create better futures.
Absolutely, and you and I, we've talked about this. I mean, for us, it's really important to ensure that, yes, diversity is easy because that's people, right? And those are human beings. And when you look at the diversity where there are so many attributes, whether it's a social identifier that has to do with your race, your religion, your abilities, body size, age demographic, neurodiversity, the list goes on. So we get that. The diversity piece is not as complicated as it sometimes may seem. And then the inclusive piece is really where we start to see some of the friction because now you have communities and then you've got your multi-hyphenated communities, right? We talked about some of our Afro-Latina brother and sisters and where do they sit? What happens when you are a part of, let's say, the Black community and as well as a part of LGBTQ plus QIA plus, and what does that mean? Are there decisions that have to be made, and how those things work? And that's where things get real muddy in trying to make that transition. And then we talk about after you're able to evolve and get beyond some of those artificial barriers. That's really what they are, mental models. We then talk about culture, right? And we create that sense of belonging in the culture where people feel they can thrive, where they feel worthy, they feel that there's trust in the environment, the psychological safety, et cetera. As the demographic, and I'll go from a U.S. perspective, as the demographic of majority changes, right? And I think we had the estimate of 2045 where we actually see that what's majority today no longer, it's below the 50% ratio that's there today. What are the positive things that you see coming out of that? Like, Afrofuturisms are there. You've got stuff around Black feminism that's there. Just share some perspective on what you found in the research.
So, again, a great signal, what you just cited, 2045, there will be parity. Okay? I think many of us probably hope that it happens sooner, and hopefully it will. And that's really going to be dependent on us. Okay? To be able to move that agenda forward. Right. And we were, in the book, very inspired by Afrofuturism, as you mentioned. I think we heard that there were a lot of Marvel fans in the room. Okay, so a good example of Afrofuturism is Black Panther. Thank you. And what's really powerful about Afrofuturism, in the example of Black Panther, and others. Octavia Butler also is a well-known science fiction writer. And so I was really happy that we had the Story AI be the winner. Really important, and futurists have talked about this for years. Communities that have an image of the future are much more motivated to make that future a reality in the present. Okay? Very important. Fred Pollock was one of the original futurists that was from Belgium, Jewish. He was hidden during the war. And when he came out of that, that was his insight, that if we don't have an image of the future, then societies will fall apart. And again, speaking a bit from the outside, in the United States, you can already see the polarization that's happening. Right? Is there a shared vision of a positive future? That, I think, is something that particularly the Black community can significantly contribute to. And in the book, we brought in artists and Octavia Butler, a few quotes, and others to be able to point out how powerful those images, those stories of the future that bring to life social justice, that bring to life economic equality, that bring to life climate-positive consumption and production behaviors. That gives us that shared story that ideally will motivate us to make some of the difficult choices about changing behaviors. And that's why I really like particularly Bodify. So the Bodify example is a great signal that there are leaders who want to actually change consumption and production behaviors. And that's what we need more of. But in order to get there, we need to have that image of the future.
Absolutely, and the image of the future, you and I agree with this, that we see that there needs to be a lot more camaraderie, right? And that camaraderie comes through allyship across social identities. Right?
It does, and I think it's important to unpack the importance of camaraderie. And I'm a trained architect, and I teach design, and my mother, for any of you who have kids under the age of probably 6 or 8, she's a well-known arts and crafts book author for kids. And the reason I go back to that and emphasize the creativity is that it's only when we co-create, we actually build things together, that we get that allyship, that we really build what is known as a cognitive bias called the IKEA effect. Okay? And for those of you who have built any IKEA furniture, you probably have some memory related to IKEA. For either the kids were jumping on your back, or your significant other was saying, "Why don't we just get somebody else to build this?" You got some memory connected to it. So the power of co-creating and building things together, that's why entrepreneurialism is so important, because you're really building things. And again, all of the technology that is in this room, you've had to roll up your sleeves and actually build something. That's why technologists, I think, have an advantage of other functions. I won't mention the other functions, but there is an advantage because we all know how to build things. And that's a very different way of interacting with people and crossing some of those gender biases, those race biases, overcoming even collective trauma to really get together and make something happen. So.
Absolutely, and I mean, you bring up a really great point. I think Hans mentioned it earlier where when on the stage, he was saying actually technology has helped to level the playing field. And so when you look at all of the Black technologists that are excellent in their field, leading teams, et cetera, they can be the same entrepreneurs that were just up here pitching solutions.
Right.
And if you look at that, they're actually producing outcomes, right? So let's segue into outcomes and that particular lever from the book.
Yeah. So our second spectrum, if we go to the next slide, is all about outcomes. And when we talk about outcomes in the book, it was actually one of the more controversial chapters because we asked the question about the office. Are we focusing our collaboration, our ways of working, what we call in the book officing, okay, going from a noun to a verb, what are the outcomes that we're expecting? And this was controversial because we said on one end there's profit, and on the other end there's prosperity. And to be very, very concrete about this, prosperity is very much what we heard Jermaine say, giving back to the community. And I think again, it was just a great example of providing the sponsorship to the community. And I'm really pleased to see that in this 31 participants that answered this question, that there is more of a weight towards prosperity. Now, this is a journey. I was last night walking through Rockefeller Center and had the opportunity to get a private tour of the mural in the lobby and discovered that Diego Rivera, the husband of Frida Kahlo, his original painting was on the one side capitalism, on the other side communism. Okay, so you could imagine the Rockefellers, when they saw that, they said, no. So they actually changed it and brought another artist. To point out that this prosperity, profit is going to be important. We heard, I think it was Clarence, who said about the importance of it's not the skin color, it's green.
Yeah,
okay?
Everyone's color is green.
Okay, and it's critical. And what I am really excited about seeing here is how might this community contribute to profit with purpose? Okay, profit with purpose. And that is a bit of a buzzword. The reality is that there is a signal actually in New York. How many of you have taken a ride share while you're in the city? Lyft, you use Lyft, Uber, couple. How many of you used Co-op Ride? Co-op Ride, yeah?
Once.
Okay, so don't tell us the experience. I would love everyone to try that because, again, that's a signal. It's a ride-sharing platform that is a cooperative, okay? So the drivers are actually owners of the business. And I do believe that for us to create a better future, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, which are our current business models that are primarily focused on profit. Because that drives incentives, that drives investments, that drives hiring. And again, it is important. It is important, particularly in an American context. But for us to create a better future for ourselves and the next generation, we've got to be thinking differently about how we distribute wealth. So I'll leave it at that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you speak about the U.S. specifically. I mean, we're a capitalistic society,
yep.
Right? And that's what makes us a global power. That's what has the U.S. dollar strong right now. Some people may not be happy about that, but I am. You're talking about how we have to strike this balance. How does that actually impact the workplace? How does that impact the office today? What changes should we be looking at from a people perspective? Think about the leaders in this room and what they need to take back to their organization in anticipation of change.
Yeah, so number one, their capitalist model has accomplished an incredible impact in the world, okay? It has created incredible wealth. So there's no critique about that. The question is, what do we do next? Because there has been a downside of that. And the easiest example of that is the economic inequality, which has exacerbated social inequality. Plus, the planet has suffered. To your question, what can we be considering as actions or choices in the workplace? Well, number one is an importance of having voice in decision making. Now, some of us may say that that's going to really complicate decision making. However, as we just saw here, we were all able to vote. And as technologies improve, being able to coordinate voice, we don't even need to use the word vote, but coordinate voice, and to be able to give everyone a voice, that's making organizations truly democratic. Now, that does put into question hierarchy, that does put into question governance. So those are evolving. If you take the example of Patagonia, okay, that has become the poster child for significantly changing the profit model of a company. Now, it's easier to do that when it's family-owned. I'm currently working with a family-owned business in Europe. They are creating a corporate campus, and they are really focusing on getting everyone's voice in shaping not only the campus, but also the new products and services, the market that they go to. And when we're going to talk about agility in a minute, the power of agility is that teams on the ground are able to make decisions. And I think to move towards prosperity, to change the kinds of outcomes, to redistribute decision-making, to redistribute wealth, it's very important to give voice. The second component does come down to compensation. And compensation is connected with consumption. The question of how much is enough, particularly in American context, and again, I'll play my American card now, it is a challenge for us to look at each other in the eye to say, well, maybe it's enough. Because of the competitive nature of the culture here, there is a drive to always have more. And in Europe, it is more balanced. And again, there's no paradise on earth. Okay? But I do think that as we go into the future, we do need to all ask ourselves, what is enough? And the power of the Black community is that you have a sense of family. Okay? And I love the joke. I think you had made the joke. We don't like to talk about money because we think our family member is going to ask for some. Okay? Trust me, same thing happens. When we have our Passover service or our high holidays. Okay, we get together and okay, we got to give some money to the synagogue, but then somebody's going to ask. But the power of the family is also it's always to help you maintain that balance and to be reminded about what's important. And I do think that in organizations, and again, leaders, being able to have that conversation, yes, the money's important, but how much is enough? Is it enough? And what might we do with the other 10%? And how might we move closer to that prosperity, okay, by increasing the investments? And again, what I heard in the last hour demonstrated that quite strongly. So again, I think there's what we call in the book, a great opportunity for the Black community to actually move the needle, particularly on this spectrum of choice.
So for those who haven't read Office Shock yet, just describe the great opportunity a bit based on how it's written in the book.
So the book was written during COVID pandemic, and I believe many of you, I had lunch with a couple of people, Paul, Cynthia, Morgan, Darren, and I asked them the question, so are you enjoying being at work 2 days a week and home 3 days a week, or 3 days a week, or 2 days a week? And Cynthia said, I love having bookends. Okay? Monday and Friday. She really likes that. And I was really pleased to hear that, because that is an important question, and a lot of people are asking that. However, there are some organizations that are now mandating you got to be in the office. And reason that we wrote the book was to say, okay, that's an important question, no doubt. Okay, I'm a family person. I really enjoyed being at home the last couple of years. I don't know if my significant others have enjoyed it as much, but I have. The reason we wrote the book was to say, hey, this is a great opportunity, because now everybody's asking the question, why do we need to be in the office at all? I'm comfortable at home. For those of us who have the luxury of having a home office, okay, and that's not the case for everyone. Nice to have options, hybrid, what's called. So we said, hey, this is a great opportunity, because everyone's asking, do we need to go back to the office? To ask the questions, why are we working? What's our purpose? Okay? What are the outcomes? How am I benefiting where I am in the organization if I'm not one of those top earning leaders? How is my community benefiting? If my community is only taking and not giving back? How are we contributing to the climate crisis? How might we use technology, AI specifically? And fortunately, we checked the box as futurists. We included ChatGPT 3 in the book, so we're okay there.
It wrote part of the book.
Right, but the question there is, okay, how might we use technology and AI, particularly to augment our intelligence?
Let me jump in, because this came up over dinner last night about remote work. What's the right balance of in office, out of office? And then, of course, me, I'm looking at the human element of it. what do careers look like at this point? Because path to promotion, and Greg Morrison was here several years ago and he said, look, merit gets you so far. It's about your likability score.
Right.
Right? And so remote, and I'm not saying that you can't get likability virtually and that people haven't been promoted who have never met their teams. I'm sure these things are happening.
Right.
But just if you can just give some thought about what the future looks like, whatever it is, if it's full remote, hybrid, back to the office, what are the strategic advantages of still being able to have that human-to-human interaction as well as getting promoted so that we avoid some of this proximity bias that kicks in from being remote?
All right, so I'll pick out 3 of the questions as usual, Ibrahim.
I start getting passionate about it.
It's rich. It's rich. I think the easy one, I'll pick up on the last one first. My view is that we will always, as social animals, need social interaction. Okay? We are hardwired for interacting with other people. And that's why the belonging spectrum is interesting, because we are hardwired to interact with people who are familiar to us. Okay? That's how we survived, out in the savannah for millennia. So we're hardwired. The amygdala is always going to have a fight or flight when you see somebody who's different. Hardwired for that. Okay? I'm an enlightened person, but I'm always going to have that snap reaction because we're hardwired about it. So that's a reality, and so therefore, because we are hardwired for these social interactions, AI is going to continue to play a role, and even more so, in decision-making, in making us smarter. In the chapter, we refer to Tom Malone's book called Superminds. And I think for those of us who, and I think it should be all of us in this room, anyone that's interested in technology, I'm guessing that you've all had the opportunity to interact with any generative AI model. Okay? How many of you, show of hands, have you had a conversation with ChatGPT recently? Okay? If you haven't, you got to do that. Okay? As you talk about careers, and Hans mentioned the prompt engineer, okay? You've got to be aware of it. We're hearing now that AI may or may not replace people in the near future. Still up for grabs, but certainly you will be replaced if you're not up to speed on AI. That I think we don't like to predict. We don't like to come up with clear statements. This is what's going to happen. However, when you ask the question about careers, if you're not up to speed, if you're not savvy in how to use it, then you're at risk. So again, technologists, you've always got to be one step ahead of your clients, right? You don't want somebody coming into the office and saying, okay, when are we going to be introducing ChatGPT if you're in a law office, for example, or somebody comes in and they ask you that question. So you really got to get up to speed on that. And the key question, which I think gets to the third point, what will we need to be doing in order to address the future of the workplace?
Right.
Okay? And I'll a bit dodge that question by saying it's a great question, and all of us must have a meaningful conversation in your organization, in your community, and let's not forget, in your home. The way that we structured Office Shock is hopefully a bit different than most business books, where they come up with, here are the 5 things you need to do in order to be a top technology leader. And in the business book, here are 5 stories from 5 organizations with 5 leaders that did exactly that, just to make sure if you didn't understand our message at the beginning of the book, you probably don't want to miss out on the boat, so listen to them. What we wanted to do with Office Shock was create a different business book because we wanted to stimulate a conversation. Our publisher, Barrett Cole, is a B-certified B Corp, and they're all about encouraging leaders at all levels of organizations to be more conscious, to be more enlightened, to be more empathetic, to be more engaging. So it's not a dodge of the question. It's really encouraging all of us to take either the framework in Office Shock or another framework and have a conversation. My bias is always going to be to have a creative conversation about these questions or other questions that are meaningful in your culture, in your community, in your organization, or for yourselves. To be able to create that image of a future place for working and living that is going to bring you, your loved ones, your colleagues, your family members, a greater sense of we can get through this. Morgan, I don't know if he's in the room, Morgan said, hey, I hate to admit it. Morgan, are you here? We lose him? Okay. He said, I'm a recovering consultant, so I'll make a comment. You know, consultants are always getting pulled into some other client need. He said, all right, Joseph, I get that. However, sometimes I've got more of a tendency to think dystopian. I'm not really bought on these social animals, okay, human species, always finding the good in others and thinking about community. And I said to him, you're absolutely right. However, now is our great opportunity. Now we've got to be making those choices. And it is a choice. We see profit and prosperity on there. It's utopia, dystopia. The reality is going to fall in the middle. But if we are not making choices to push us towards that utopia, okay, and that utopia as the community designs it, if we're not asking those questions, if we're not having those conversations, if we're not confronting our biases, then we're all kind of screwed.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think part of the challenge and the concern that I have, and this is just personally, you know, when we think about these models, and again, going back to path of promotion and people, you know, how do we make sure that we have policy in place that don't increase the amount of inequities to those who are typically underrepresented within an organization, and again, specifically Black? How do we do that?
So I will be incredibly biased and share with you the other, I think, or I hope, contribution from the book Office Shock is future-back thinking. And again, as a recovering consultant, I'll always warn